I actually completed the program myself, and I found genuinely so much benefit from it, because I work a lot in getting people into treatment and making sure that people have got the help to look to abstain from gambling. But I think it's so important to actually recognise walking out of treatment or carrying on with life without gambling is hard to do. It's as scary as walking into treatment to get rid of the gambling or to try and manage kind of with that addiction. And so to walk out without it was as scary for me as walking in. I think it's about building that confidence for women to say, do you know what, I've been through this and I need some support, and make sure that it's accessible for women and it's offering what we need it to support them with their life after their gambling addiction. The program just helped me so much understand coping strategies. It actually allowed me to go forward and make some of the steps that I'd been wanting to make for a long time, but I wasn't sure how to deal with them or cope with them. From there, really, I kind of realised just how important this program is in helping with life afterwards. And yeah, that's what kind of led me to say, do you know what, let's get something going, because this is brilliant and more women need to know about this. I wasn't in the slightest bit surprised by the stats that came out from GambleAware, because the amount of women that I speak to on a daily basis is you can't put these people into a category. There's no particular woman who is more at risk, or a particular person. You can't put them in a category that says you're more at risk. I genuinely believe that this addiction, everybody is susceptible to it, and nobody is discriminated against it. Nobody puts a bet on thinking that it's going to lead to what it potentially can do, and I think that's where the danger is. And so making people aware that this can happen, and education for me is key in knowing, be careful because this can go wrong. My first kind of interaction or awareness with gambling was on my 17th birthday, because from turning 16 I never thought about it, and then on my 17th birthday I realised that I was old enough to buy a scratch card, and so I went and put the lottery on and I bought a scratch card and I lost, and for the next year it never crossed my mind again, not once. And then I simply needed a job to pay for my nights out that I wanted to go on. I was 18, I wanted to go and have fun, and I just saw an advert in the window that was looking for a cashier, and I thought, I can do that, I can stand and serve people. I had no idea about the industry, what it was, what it did. I had absolutely no awareness of gambling whatsoever, and it was most definitely working within the industry, within that shop, that opened me up to the gambling world, really. Most definitely for me, the biggest things that spoke out to me were always online slots and scratch cards. I think, again, they're quick, they are colourful, you believe they're entertaining until they're not anymore and they're a problem. And even to this day, they are probably my biggest trigger and something that I struggle with most. They are a huge tower staring at me in every colour you can imagine. They're sparkly, they've got different kinds of images all over it, and I struggle not to stare at them. And I have to actively be aware that this is something I need to be careful of, because it's so easy for me to just say, oh, I'll have a number, or I'll just have one, or a number 6, or whatever it might be. And that appears to be something that is quite acceptable, which it absolutely is, but it's so easy to hide behind in just one scratch card, because that for me would then lead into wanting another one and going to another shop, and then that trigger builds and builds, and I'd end up gambling online, which I think my main addiction was always online slots or slots in bookies. And I think the pace at which they go, there are some very female orientated slots that appealed to it very pink, very glitzy. I think the other thing is the anonymity online is a huge thing that appeals to women. Nobody watches them doing it. They don't feel the shame. They don't feel like anybody's looking at them. And that probably is the biggest draw. I speak to literally hundreds and hundreds of women who are going through the same thing. My average message count a day between the platforms that I use is between 60 and 100 most days messages. So I do my best to speak to all of these people, and it's not always to get them into treatment. It's not always to push and make them go somewhere. It's just to say they're not on their own and they've got somebody to talk to who really does understand it. But yeah, that's kind of where I realised just how much of a problem this is. Even I didn't expect this amount of women to come forward and say that they're in the same situation until I started kind of raising awareness and sharing my story. It's absolutely huge, the amount of women that I've spoken to. TikTok and Facebook are the main platforms I use to raise awareness and share my story. The whole way through my addiction, I looked for another woman like who'd been through it, who just got it, and maybe even I could message and talk to about it, or even a celebrity just to read their story and knew that there was another woman, and I never found it. So everything I'm doing is just to put that in place, that there is someone you can send a message to who's not going to judge you, who gets it from a female perspective, and making sure that other people have got what I didn't feel I had during addiction. And yeah, lockdown drove me to share my story more than anything else, because I had a genuine concern that A, I was going to be trapped in the house and that I would turn back to gambling, and B, how many other women are going to feel that way. And so yeah, TikTok was very much something that was being used a lot through lockdown, and I did think a lot about how can I get the message out there, and social media is huge now, and as is TikTok, it's grown and grown, and it's proven to help so many people in letting them know that other women do go through this. So I never believed when I started it that it would get as much kind of engagement or praise or anything else that it does. I really didn't. I'm still can't quite believe it. I think what I'm most looking forward to with my kind of association with the Restart Foundation is, of course, helping the women through it, but also seeing what they achieve afterwards, because it helped me take the steps I've been wanting to take for such a long time that I didn't quite have the confidence to do yet. And so I think to watch that and watch women go on and thrive in life after addiction and get all the things that they want to get, there's nothing more rewarding than that. And I believe that this programme will enable that for women.